The sky turned dark without warning. Rain didn't just fall. It struck with force. The river swelled into a raging, its currents powerful enough to shatter rocks. In the middle of this chaos, a tiny lion cub was fighting for its life. Just moments earlier, the cub had been playing near the riverbank with its family. Then everything changed. A sudden surge of water dragged the body into the current. The mother lion roared in desperation, a cry filled with pain, but she could do nothing. The cub tumbled helplessly, spinning in the water like a broken branch. It tried to grab onto rocks, but the current was too strong. By pure luck, it became wedged between two large stones. Clinging tightly, its tiny paws bleeding, the cub trembled from cold and fear. All it could do was wait and hope. The pride stood frozen, helpless witnesses to the struggle. Not far away, deep in the forest, a young deer named Cobby sensed something was wrong. It trembled beneath his hooves as the flood spread. Nervous by nature, like all prey animals, he moved cautiously toward the river. Then he heard it. Not a roar, but the desperate cry of a baby in pain. The sound pulled at his heart. When Cobby reached the riverbank, he saw something unbelievable. A pride of lions stood silently, staring into the rushing water. And there, trapped between rocks, was the struggling cub. Fear gripped him instantly. Lions were his natural enemies. One step closer could mean death. But something was different. These lions weren't hunting. They were suffering. They were parents watching their child die. Cobby looked at the cub and saw more than a predator. He saw a life, young, fragile, deserving of a chance. In that moment, he made a choice that would change everything. He stepped into the river. The current slammed against him immediately. One step, then another. The water fought to drag him away, but he adapted, moving carefully instead of resisting. The cold stole his breath. The rocks beneath him were slippery, unstable. Still, he pushed forward. On the shore, every animal watched in silence. The mother lion let out a low, trembling sound, part roar, part prayer. When Cobby reached the cub, he dipped beneath the water and reached it. Instantly, the cub clung to him, not out of trust, but out of survival. Sharp claws dug into Cobby's back. But he didn't stop. Now came the hardest part, getting back. The cub grew heavier. The current grew stronger. For a moment, Cobby thought it was the end, that both of them would disappear beneath the water. But with shaking legs and burning lungs, he kept going, step by step, until finally, he collapsed onto the muddy shore. The cub rolled off his back, coughing but alive. Cobby lay there, gasping, completely exhausted. Then he looked up. The lions were standing just a few steps away. Silence filled the mother lion slowly stepped forward, her eyes locked on him. Cobby couldn't run. He couldn't fight. He closed his eyes, waiting for the end. But suddenly, a loud engine roared. A rescue truck broke through the tension. A team of rangers had been patrolling the flooded, saving trapped animals. When they arrived, they froze at the sight. A deer collapsed beside a lion cub, surrounded by an entire pride. The situation was dangerous. Both animals were close to death from the cold. But the lions wouldn't let anyone near. The lead ranger quickly threw smoke grenades, creating a thick gray barrier. Confused, the lions stepped back. The rescuers rushed in. One wrapped the trembling cub in a blanket. Another carefully lifted Cobby's weak body. They carried them both to safety. At the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center, the veterinary team worked urgently. Cobby was in critical condition, his body temperature dangerously low, deep claw wounds across his back. The cub was also weak but stronger. Within hours, the cub began to recover. Then something incredible happened. When the cub woke up, it cried softly, like a lost child calling for its mother. From the nearby enclosure, Cobby stirred. Though weak, he made a gentle sound in response. The cub immediately calmed down. Seeing this, the lead veterinarian made an unusual decision. She placed the cub beside Cobby. What followed amazed everyone. The cub curled up against the deer, and Cobby gently wrapped his neck around it protectively. Over the next weeks, Their bond grew stronger. Kabi cared for the cub like a parent, and the cub, named Leo, followed him everywhere. They became inseparable. Months later, both animals had fully healed. It was time to return them to the wild. At sunrise, they were taken back near the river. Kabi was released first. He stepped out slowly, then turned back, waiting. Then Leo was released. The young lion ran straight to him. They stood together one last time. Then, in the distance, a roar echoed. Leo's family. He looked between Kabi and the forest, torn between two worlds. Kabi made the choice for him. Gently, he nudged Leo forward. A silent goodbye. Leo hesitated, then ran toward his pride. But before disappearing into the trees, he looked back one last time. At the one who had saved him. At the one who had become his family. Kabi watched quietly, then turned away. Back to his own life. Back to where he belonged. And somewhere deep in the wild, two lives continued, forever changed.